Good afternoon, Tony Dottino here, struggling through my laptop to try to get to my Live with Tony team, and we finally have figured out how to deal with the different blocks I was getting through my normal Facebook. Your computer is locked, and now we finally went back through Firefox, and hopefully this is going to get it done. But this has just been time to get my Live with Tony. So I want to bring everybody up to date. October 23rd, we had the Full Sail College media students over at the Rosentown Center this week, and they made recommendations on how we will set up their cameras and lights and screens and TV monitors. I mean, this is a school that produces students that know how to go out and do media events, and this is fantastic that we had an events planner from Disney that helped us with this and introduced us to the professors of these kids. And they are now making this their school term project, which they all have to do as they finish the semester on October 31st. So to have such a quality team of people coming along for this year's event is just fantastic. And just thrilled that they were over at the town center this week. They scoped out the stage and the screen and the lighting, and to have such a professional group of people that be along with us this year, it's almost like having the show that they're in the process of doing. So for all of our competitors this year, we've got 13 mental athletes that are scheduled to compete on the 23rd of October live at the town center, the Rosentown Center. We've got 13 mental athletes, and we've spent this week going through what the events will be, what the sequencing of the events will be, how many strikes we'll have. So, for example, when we talk about strikes, we'll have words to remember. We'll give them 300 words to remember in our first event, with 3 people being eliminated out of the 13. And they will have 2 words to miss, and on their second word that they miss, they're no longer in the competition. And we've had a great team meeting last week over the sequencing and where should we put the cards, and where should we put long term, and where do we do the tea party event. So we're putting that all together, but the events will be the worst. So there'll be a first event of Lumosity that we will use to seed and seat the finalist, which is when you're a mental athlete that's done this a few times, where you get to sit is actually a real strategy. So that's great. So Lumosity is going to help us get that done. Then we're going to go off to words. We'll be doing long-term memory, then the tea party, and then our deck of cards. So we've got the sequencing worked out. Now we're working out more of the details. So what will we be having in the long-term memory event will be something from the arts, something from science, and something from sports. So those will be our 3 major categories. And Karen Pinson's been working on putting the details of that together. So again, the amount of work that goes into these things is just amazing to people when they realize how much effort and work goes in by a team that usually produces a flawless competition. And we've done this for a good number of years, and things always bump up that we hadn't anticipated, but the team is just a can-do. We figure it out, and we move forward in terms of the team effort. The big decision that we're facing, and boy goodness, as I have left Florida to spend the next 5 weeks here in New York, the love of my life and the most precious human being that I just love to pieces has just gone through some hip surgery and hip replacement, and she is now in the recovery mode, which will take her about 4 weeks. So for the next 4 weeks, I will be here in New York at a place called Larchmont, New York, which is a 32-minute train ride from New York City if people are on the train. And coming from Florida to New York, it's an interesting transition in terms of how people perceive anybody from Florida must be COVID crazy, right? Well, I've been a senior, as you can tell. I'm a senior, and I've been quarantining, and I've been very cautious and very careful. And even as I'm up here, and people seem to be going about day-to-day activities. Oh, I got to sneeze. I just had some some sniffles. As I go about day-to-day activities, very, very cautious of where I go, and certainly have the mask on, and certainly go when there's not lots of people around. So when I'm watching these sporting events and there's 40,000 people in a stadium, or people that are in these arenas that they're playing different games in, I'm like, okay, what did I miss a page in the memo or something? But I'm not back to anything that would call normal. I'll be very conservative. Evelyn has been conservative. I'm not looking for visitors to come see her, and we want to be careful. So I get this finished, and we got the memory. So I'm doing some work in moving the memory championship along and keeping that fluid so that we have a fantastic event on October 23rd. So that's moving. Now, along with that, we have a 3-year piece of work that Michael Datino is doing with Columbia University. That's also has MIT as a part of that, and a piece of Princeton. And that event, that work is pilot study, fantastic. Got an email today from the head researcher that's leading that project, and we're going into the next phase. And so that means we will at some point have mental athletes compared to a study group and pilot group and a control group. And so all these researchers that do these different groups, we're in the process now of moving that along in the month of September into the next phase of that work, which Michael Datino has been working on. And that is tremendously exciting and absolutely fascinating in terms of how the researchers that put the official scientific touch to these things are moving along. And as I said to Michael, and the work that he's done so far and the work that he's planning to do, he will be a part of a white paper that's going to put memory skills and techniques on a map. And the map that's interesting to me is it's amazing how Michael has been coaching individual people over the last 18 months. Fireman, lawyer, an Air Force flight commander. He worked with a chief nursing officer. He's now working with a student that wants to pass the nursing exam. It's just amazing to me how many people he's worked with in these techniques that we use in the USA Memory Championship. But his gift has been how he's put them together and has developed a course that he's now beginning to narrate called Becoming a Super Learner. And my golly, this to me, it ought to be in every educational institute we have in the country. He's just finished a course, the 6 Factors to Brain Health, which I've been talking about for months. So that is now finished. He's in the process of downloading that and putting that up as another offering. And I think we're on the cutting edge of doing some really fantastic things that are going to help people in their lives, whether it be in their mental health, be it in their physical health as well, be it in their learning and what they do in their careers and their personal, professional careers. So we have a lot of really, really good things that are moving forward that I think are going to just bring a lot of recognition to the USA Memory Championship, to the people that have competed first in the qualifying events and rounds we did on August the 7th, which have given us now the 13 people that'll be competing in the live event that we do on October 23rd. So really exciting. And then the great news about the Full Sail School is they're going to be able to capture this, and then we'll be able to post it on our website so people will be able to see it. And so we're likely to stream it on the day of, but more importantly, capture and have live video that we can use to post back out onto our website. So there's a lot of really, really great stuff that's going on, and it's just tremendously exciting. So I now in Larchmont, New York, have found that the internet doesn't quite work as well for me here as it does in Orlando or Windermere, Florida. So I have found myself looking at my timing on these, and at about 10 minutes I start to get into a semi-anxiety attack, And by 11 minutes, I'm looking to say good night, and we'll see you next week. But before I do that, I want to apologize. This has been a crazy week getting Evelyn ready for her surgery and the pre-surgery, and then going with her for surgery, and then bringing her back home after surgery. What doctors do today for hip replacements is totally mind-boggling. And what they're able to do and where she's been able to get to just from her surgery to where she is today. Thinking about somebody put a new hip into your body and how she's proceeding today is a miracle of medicine today. And the doctors and the nurses and the people that cared for her at the Hospital for Special Surgery in New York City, they're miracle workers. And boy, and we had COVID testing and things that we had to be careful, and visiting rights and whatever. But congratulations to these people, boy, because at the rate she's been just in the last several days and watching her progress, it's a miracle. And it's great we have people that use their brains to be able to do things that help people. And that's what we want to do with the USA Memory Championship and the Maximum Memory Mastery offerings that we have, and everything that we're connected with. So where we can make a difference, we sign up. We're in, we're involved, and want to continue. So as a result of the craziness this week, did not do a Monday or a Wednesday broadcast. In fact, I was surprised it was Tuesday before I realized I didn't do Mondays, and then it was Wednesday surgery, and so Wednesday blew by, and then I realized, gee, today is Friday. I got to make sure I get on here and get a Friday broadcast done. So everybody knows what the heck has been going on with my schedule this week, and I'm hoping that if all goes well and